Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of August. Happy birthday, Leo. I hope you're all doing well. I'd like to say thank you to all those people who've joined the channel memberships. They're now open on the channel. There's a little button underneath the video. It says join or something like that. So delighted to have those people aboard. And also thank you to those people who joined me over on Patreon. I love you so much. All of you, thank you. The vote of confidence is quite humbling to say. So, I hope that you're all doing okay. The last two videos that I did for you, they dealt with this notion of some sort of beast resurfacing. And it was absolutely about kind of things in the dark inside you that you knew were there, but hadn't shown their face yet. And well, it proper kicked me in the teeth on July the 17th when the full weight of the beast hit me, and it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't who I thought it was. It was something so much more profound and so much deeper than that. So, I've been a bit quiet on social media for the last couple of weeks. That's one of the reasons why I had some processing of my own to do. So I hope that your meeting with your beast was productive and didn't leave you feeling too low as a result. Let's get some cards and see what's going on. So, can I have 3 cards for Leo, please? 3 cards for Leo. Alright. The first card, rather predictably, is the 3 of Swords. I absolutely understand that. The second card is the Page of Swords. That's interesting. What's coming towards Leo, please? In August. The 10 of Swords. We've got you at the bottom of the deck as the King of Earth. Fuck my life, man. So, we've got the King of Fire, that's what I meant to say. Well, I think I did say, actually, which is the card of Leo. And underneath that, we have the 8 of Pentacles and the Moon. It seems like we Leos have retreated a little bit to do some shadow work recently. And hopefully that's maybe is coming to an end, although this is a very sword-heavy reading. It's not one that I would be... yeah, get those ones. It's not entirely what I'd expected or hoped, but it is what it is, and let's work through it and see what the crack is. Because maybe the processing isn't quite done yet. So, that'll do for that. Could I have some clarifiers for Got the Chariot and 4 of Cups. Page of Skies, please. Strength. Page of Swords. 10 of Wands. And 10 of Spades, please. Ooh. Got the 7 of Cups. And the 3 of Wands. I actually kind of like this. We've got the Emperor and the 9 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords and the Ace of Wands all at the bottom of the deck here, and I feel like this is talking to a journey that we're on at the moment. Like, it's obviously not quite done yet. I've got Temperance underneath that, and I'm kind of pleased to see it there, to be honest. So, sorry, no sparkling unicorns and rainbows this month. Quite, but something maybe is a little bit more important. It's the King of Wands there, the deck that I've just picked up. So, the first card that we've got is the 3 of Swords. Now, it's usually quite a visceral scene depicted in here, but we're using the Lost Forest today, and it's a little different. It's got 3 kind of destroyed tree stumps just displayed there. Now, the meaning of the 3 of Swords is usually heartbreak, and I mean it still is heartbreak here on this. And it's usually depicted as having a big heart with 3 swords kind of rammed through it. And nobody really needs to have that explained to them. We all know what that is like. And it's in your recent past. So whatever this beast was, whatever this realization was, whether it was about you or the way that you'd reacted to something, or, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. I know exactly what it was for me, but, you know, for you it'll be something else. An acknowledgement of that pain, I think, actually is doing wonders for your soul growth here. Now, maybe this is the pain that somebody else inflicted on you, or maybe it's pain that you inflicted on someone else, right? Whichever way around it is. Because what we've got first to clarify is the Chariot. Now, this is the card of the self for me, but increasingly I'm seeing it associating itself with shadow work, actually, which is quite interesting. It's a card of will and determination. It's a card of victory and movement, all these kind of things. And it feels like it's kind of pushed us a little bit further than we might have gone ordinarily without the addition of this Three of Swords energy here. And the reason that I'm seeing it as a card that's talking about shadow work is it deals very much with duality, right? Well, whether we like it or not, we live in a duality consciousness, right? So, particularly throat today. We are not yet at the point where unity consciousness is a thing. So everything is duality and everything is about balance, right? So it's the light and the dark and the night and the day and the positive and the negative, you know, all of these things, they have to be held in perfect alignment. And this Three of Swords was hidden, right? So now it's come out and it's allowing you to balance it because you can consciously process it in the way that you want to. And this will allow us to move forwards in some sort of way. But the reason that I see this as a shadow work card is because, for me, the point of integration here on this card is the Charioteer, right? He's the one who's doing the balancing. He's the one who's using his will and determination to keep these sphinxes moving in line, you know, the duality of the situation. And so, integration and shadow work, right? When you're dealing with the shadow, what you're trying to do is build a bridge to it, right? To let it kind of come across so that you can see it for what it is, and then you can release it and let it go. You know, it's like it's finding a way to live with that aspect of yourself so that it doesn't take over and affect your subconscious actions to the point where, you know, you have reactions that you don't understand. You don't know why you feel like that, but you do. It's triggers, it's wounds, it's all that kind of thing. This feels like it pulled a big wound up to the fore for you to look at, and you know, I certainly didn't see it coming. I had a few predictions, but I got totally broadsided by this. Now, the next card that you've got is the Four of Cups, and this is quite interesting because you could see this going a number of different ways. It talks about, sometimes it talks about missed opportunities, sometimes it talks about rejection, sometimes it talks about taking things for granted. But I'm going to pull a clarifier and see which way we're going. The important thing that the Chariot states here is that whatever the Three of Swords situation was for you, it was something that was so deep, it was colouring the way that you behaved and you didn't even know about it. Okay? Bringing it into balance, bringing it into alignment is making you grow in a way that you wouldn't have done if you hadn't looked at it. So that was Four of Cups, please. Four of Cups. Try that one again. Tell me about the Four of Cups, please. King of Cups. Okay. I actually feel like that's exactly what these two things are talking about here. Like, what I'm seeing here is a bit of forgiveness and a bit of compassion for yourself, Leo, that you didn't realise that you needed. There's been a way that you've been kicking yourself that you didn't even know about. And here it is. There's a little bit of yourself that you were refusing to love because you felt like you fucked up somewhere, right? That's what we've got here. This bit of me, no, I can't love that because I've failed in some way. But we've got the King of Cups here, who is emotionally open, emotionally available, and speaking to that. You know, in fact, I've just noticed that we've got the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck here. So there's a clarity of thinking here, combined with loving, compassionate, forgiving energy here, right? I really like that, actually. It makes a lot of sense. So then we move into your current energy, and what we've got is the Page of Skies, as it is in this deck, which is the Lost Forest. It's a Page of Swords. And like I said, this is pretty sword heavy in the main cards here. But it feels like there has been a bit of a liberation for you in some way. It's like you've mentally taken flight, but not in a kind of running away from things, but in a kind of releasing where you were tethered before, because you would not forgive this part of yourself here. You would not deal with that part of yourself because it was so objectionable to you. You've spread your wings and you're up now, right? It's that clarity of thought there and new ways of seeing things, right? Like a broader perspective than you might have had before, right? You can get up and you can see for fucking miles now because you're an owl and you're up in the air. And this change in perspective for you is really important. Now, whether it's just from a really basic point of view, being that, you know, you just could not love yourself the way that really you deserve to be loved because you were holding yourself responsible for something that you did a long time ago, or, you know, a way that you hurt somebody, emotional reactions you had to somebody in the past that were maybe unwarranted, you know, you fill in the gaps for you. There's something about this new perspective, this higher perspective that you have now in your current energy, that I feel is kind of setting you up for something that's coming along. Now, it's not setting you up in a bad way, but kind of like propping you up, getting you into the right place, maneuvering you so that your vision is not down here, but it's up here, right? You can see every which way, right? Owls are supreme hunters as well. But if they had to spend all of their time anchored to the ground, they'd never catch anything, right? And maybe this is speaking to something like what it is to be a Leo. You know, we're ruled by the sun, and, you know, we govern the heart. We're all about that expansive love. Like, we are Leos, we can love everyone, you know, with the fire of 1,000 suns, apparently, apart from ourselves, right? So this change in perspective is now making us walk the walk as well as talking the talk, right? We've got these two cards down here to clarify. We've got this strength card. Here is that strength of character that is built through dealing with difficult circumstances. It also talks about forgiveness and compassion and love. Those gentle leonine characteristics that we have, but it also talks to me about growth, big soul growth. So if you are in a position now where you are able to forgive yourself for things that have gone before, things that really you've been holding on to without even realizing that they were there, that's where this feeling of release and liberation is coming from. Got the Ten of Wands, which is a card of burden. This has been burdening your soul for a very long time and you didn't even realize it was there. Now it's a 10, right? It's like it's become actualized. You can see it, you understand it for what it is, and now it is time to let the burden go. I'm going to pull another couple of clarifiers for that. And, you know, the 10 is the end of a cycle. This is an end to that particular burden for you. It's time to let it go. So, strength from the Ten of Wands, please. Yeah. That's incredible. So we've got the Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck. That is the crossroads. It's followed by the Ten of Wands, right? I like this Ten of Wands because in this one she's put them down, right? You're holding them here. You've put them down here. This is the theme. And there is temperance underneath. Here is the healing. Here is the balance. Here is the alignment that's coming. Here is you walking the walk and talking the talk at the same time, right? Starting with yourself. I mean, how many times have we discussed the fact that you know, any change you want to see in the outside world at all has to start with you, right? It requires you to change fundamentally, to change your perspectives, to elevate your perspectives. This seems to be what's gone on for Leo this month. The two cards that I've just pulled out to clarify are two eights. We've got the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Now, eights are important because they're associated with fertility and abundance, right? Like good shit coming towards you, but they've also got really heavy karmic overtones. And so this is a release of karma. I saw the Justice card a number of times while I was shuffling, actually. It's not come out yet, but it's been there, showing its face to me, right? What it is that you're leaving behind is not an old emotional situation, but your old emotional responses to that situation. The way in which you kept yourself trapped, which you refused to forgive yourself, you refused to look after yourself in the way that, you know, you look after everybody else, right? It has to start with you first, and that isn't just working through the bad stuff, that's kind of working through the good stuff as well, you know, because we put both into our shadow. We've got this huge capacity for love, and we very rarely extend it towards ourselves, right? This is about leaving behind the burden, leaving behind the feelings of being stuck and frustrated and not being worth enough, right? Leaving it all behind and moving on to something new. In fact, with the Strength card there, we've got a triple eight, right? That's really, really powerful. This was a huge karmic, I don't want to say lesson, like I don't feel like lesson is the correct term here. I feel like it's because it feels harsh and authoritative, and that's not what this energy is. This energy is forgiving and releasing and compassionate. It is treating yourself as you treat others. So what you've got coming towards you in August is the Ten of Skies. That's Ten of Swords, and I know people hate this card, but it's another 10, and so actually I'm kind of welcoming it here, because it is an end to all those ways in which you have felt like you were not enough, you failed, you know, you're not worthy. All of these self-esteem issues that plague Leos so strongly that most people don't ever even see, you know, like I'm hearing a lot of people kind of have this notion of Leos of being, you know, loud and boisterous and arrogant and self-interested and all that kind of thing. And actually, really, they're in the minority, those kind of Leos. I'm seeing a rise in more of the kind of, how does Radiant Reality refer to them? These silent dignity Leos. I think it's a term that gets bounced around quite a lot in astrology when it comes to Leo energy, and they're not demanding to be the centre of attention all the time. They are quiet, they're reserved, they watch, they learn, they love, they do all of these things. It feels like the Leo energy is coming to the point now where other people can perceive us as we actually are, and maybe because part of that is because we're showing up so authentically now. There's no bluff and bluster, like we're kind of dealing with our dark shit now, and I feel like we've been leading the way since 2017 on that front, right? It's coming to an end, and maybe this is what started in 2017 is now coming to an end fully, right? Because we've let the sunlight into every single dark corner of who we are now. There is nothing that is left to be revealed, right? We're in this very conscious process of reflection on an almost daily basis. You know, we're watching the way that we behave, and when we have these really strong emotions about something, we're like, what the fuck is that? Right, I need to go investigate that. I need to see what that is, right? That kind of thing. And it's clarified by the Seven of Cups and the Three of Wands, and I actually kind of really like this as well, because it feels like the future is opening up, right? 2020 has been pretty good for Leos in terms of the energy. Like we've kind of certainly felt like things were starting to pick up a little bit, but it has been slow. It's been slow going, and it feels like options are opening up. Possibilities for the future are really starting to come to the fore now as well. And they're going to start making their way to you. Opportunities potentially. But a lot of, I've just noticed it's the Ace of Wands that I'm just turning back over there. A lot of this is self-driven, right? but in a way that is fully accepting of the Leo power, right? We're not putting any limits on it now. You know, those limits that, whatever that Three of Swords talks about there, like that's a self-imposed limitation. And we see it again here in this. It's the ways of self-sabotaging ourselves, and not because we don't want to succeed, because we do, but maybe where we fucked up once, we fucked up so hard that that we don't deserve it, you know. So what I'm seeing here is not a kind of big fanfare Six of Wands, you know, triumphant procession with, you know, trumpets and stuff like that. What I'm seeing is a quiet acceptance of Leo energy. I'm seeing a quiet acceptance that we are silent and dignified and ready to not just be, you know, these huge rays of sunshine for everybody in our life, you know, being that fixed fire, kind of passionate, loving energy, but also turning that internally. Like I said in the last video that I did for Leo, I remember distinctly that I said I felt very muted, and I felt like Leos collectively were feeling very muted, and I wasn't sure if it was anything to do with the Cancer energy. Okay, and when I thought about it, I thought, okay, July actually is usually a month for me where I am a little bit, I tend to retreat a little bit. You know, the impending solar return seems to put me in a space of reflection and introversion, actually, probably for a little while. I mean, certainly for me, at least growing up through my life, I absolutely despised my birthday from the age of fucking 8 or 9 or something like that, because of all of the misery that ended up getting associated with it from my childhood. And so I'd kind of put it down to that. But as I've got older and I kind of released all of that stuff and let all of that go, it still seems that July is that period of reflection. Now, the timing is interesting, and I don't know if it's just because Leo tends to be in that frame of mind that this is when this stuff came up for you to look at. Whether everything just aligned in the correct way, you know. But it doesn't feel like necessarily to me that you're going to be bursting into flames of enthusiasm throughout August. It feels gentler than that. It feels a little more sedate than that. A little bit more basic in the nicest possible way. It's like a return to values, really strong values that Leos tend to be governed by, you know, a little less interested in everybody else and a little more interested in what is really, really important to us. So that would be immediate family, for sure. Immediate circles of friends, for sure. But also a quiet contemplation of what we want life to hold for us moving forwards, what we are going to pull in towards us, you know, but not in a flashy, showy way, you know, in quite a restrained, kind of civilized thing. Or maybe it's because we're just aging or something like that. I don't know. I'm probably twice as old as some of the Leos that are watching this. I don't know. But releasing properly in August that which we've been processing for the last month or so, letting it go and moving on, is now bringing us to a point where there are lots of different options, and they are, you know, Seven of Cups. It's about those things that are really emotionally important to us, not what other people think, not status driven things, no, none of that sort of business at all. It's just about this in here. And now it's time to start looking at the future. So that's Seven of Cups. Ooh. We've got the Devil and the World there, which is really, really interesting. Now, they didn't jump, they flipped together. And that's talking to me about an end to fear, right? This is like a mega cycle that's winding up now, you know, that's being released, that you've coming to the end of. Who knows how long this cycle's been going on? It could have been 20 years. but it's releasing, and you are not held, you are not trapped anymore. You do not feel trapped because you are not holding yourself hostage to something that happened a long time ago, right? Forgiveness, compassion, love, moving forwards. Yeah. Wait. Strength cards out there again. Let's put all these back in. I only want one more card. One more card, please. Yeah. It's interesting. We've got the Empress at the bottom of the deck. You know, the Queen of Queens, the archetypal mother. Fertility, abundance, new things being brought into the world. A new version of you, Leo, is birthing into the world. And you're not quite ready to pop out yet the other side. You're still very much in the birthing process, but it is coming. And the star underneath, hope for the future, your vision for the future, what it looks like to you, right? It feels like by the time Capricorn, Saturn moves into Aquarius and out of Capricorn at Christmas, I feel like you're going to be a very different version of yourself, and it's going to be a much more peaceful version of who you've been for a very long time. That's not to say that you won't get excited about stuff like that, but within you there is a level of peace that you have not known probably ever coming to the fore. So what we've got here coming out underneath the Seven of Cups and the Three of Wands is the Four of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, and the Two of Wands. It's heavy crossroads energy. But what you want to start doing, what you want to start bringing into the world is this Four of Wands, right? You're rebuilding your foundation, but you're building it how it should have been from the start, right? We've worked through all of these issues. We've worked through other people's projections onto us. We've dealt with narcissistic parents. We've done this, we've done the other, abusive relationships, the works, right? We've been through it all, and to finally end up kind of back that little ball of energy that we were when we were born, right? Before all of that crap happened. Like, you've done that, Leo. You have built this in, and now we are building that new foundation, right? With all of that peace, all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of these things, all of the love, right? We're rebuilding it. Anything that displeases you about your current environment with that Seven of Pentacles there, it's gone, right? And it's not to say we're going to start falling out with people or doing this, that and the other. It's like, this is a card of manifestation to me, right? What's going on here in this crossroads energy, where this woman is kind of looking towards the horizon and she's making her decisions, she's making her plans about what her life holds. That's what we see happen here, right? That is living that life, for sure. So you're not going to be falling out with people. You're just not going to spend time around toxic people anymore. No drama, no fuss. It's just not going to happen. You know, not making enough money, right, to do the nice things that you want to do. Or do some, get a better job, work a bit harder, start your own business, something like. There's no. I'm not feeling any drama with anything. It's just set intention, right? And that's why this is so important, right? Because of that level of alignment that you're now sitting in. It's really, really strong. That's a card of manifestation to me as well. But none of this is going to happen dramatically. It's all just will. Will and an alignment of energy and self-love and compassion for others, forgiveness for others, but also the same for ourselves. This is absolutely fascinating, and actually so much better than I thought it was going to be when the cards started coming out. So if this has resonated with you at all, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and do an extended. So you're welcome to join me there if you'd like to know a little bit more. I'm going to kind of dig around in this a little bit. I'm going to leave the past stuff because you know what it is and you know how you're dealing with it. We'll look a little bit more at your current energy And then a little bit more about what's on the other side of this. Right? It seems like this is kind of important for August, and maybe we'll look into a little bit more about that. We'll get some advice. But just a peek, maybe, at something a little bit further ahead. But if this is where we part ways, then that's all cool. And I will see you in about 10 days or so for the August mid-month readings. Right? I love you all. Take care.